Pandemic was created by Mark Leacock and is produced by Zeman Games. It's a cooperative board game for 2 to 4 players who will take on the role of a member of a disease-fighting team, and their goal is to cure and eradicate 4 diseases. These 4 diseases are identified by these coloured cubes. There are many, many ways to lose this game, such as 8 outbreaks occur, you run out of cubes, or you run out of player cards to play. In order to win Pandemic, you need to be able to cure all the diseases. You don't necessarily have to eradicate them all, but if you want to push yourself that extra mile, you can. But yeah, you need to cure all the diseases in order to win the game of Pandemic. So, to set up the game of Pandemic, you need to place the board on a sturdy surface and then begin to place the markers on the board. So firstly, you'll start with the outbreak marker and place that in the outbreak section on the board. You will then place the cure markers in the cure section here. You will then place a research facility in Atlanta. These are like little white buildings. It goes in Atlanta because this is the home of the CDC. Each role is also represented by a different coloured pawn. So for this example, I'm going to be using the medic and the scientist, and they will also be placed in Atlanta. Each role has a special ability. So for example, the scientist, you only need 4 cards of the same colour to cure a disease. And as a medic, you can remove all cubes of one colour when you're treating a disease. And then next you give your players the cards from the player deck. So depending on how many people you have, you will give if it's a 2-player game, you'll give them 4 cards. If it's a 3-player game, you'll give them 3 cards. And if it's a 4-player game, you'll give them 2 cards. So in this example, I'll be playing as 2 people. And in the, see if we have one, yes we do. In the player deck as well, you will also get event cards. These event cards don't count as an action, and you can also play them at any time. I'll just put them over here out the way. I can show you the next one. Next, you need to place the epidemic cards, which look like this, into the player deck. It is advised to play with 4 epidemic cards on your first time playing this game. But if you're feeling up to it, you can play on Legendary, which is using all of the epidemic cards. But as we're using 4 for this example, we split the player deck into 4 separate piles, like so, and place an epidemic card on each one, and then you shuffle each of the separated piles, and then stack them back up to form the player deck, and then place it in the player deck area of the board. There we go. Next, you will place the infection rate counter, which is this, on the first 2 that is on the infection rate section here. And you will then begin to infect cities. So you draw 9 cards. The first 3 cards that you draw, you will place 3 cubes. On the second lot of 3 cards, you will place 2 cubes. And on the last lot of 3 cards, you'll place 1 cube on the cities that you've drawn. So let's see where we're going today. You place 3 cubes on the first lot of cards that you draw. And then on the next lot, you will place 2. And then you will place 1 cube on the next 3 cards that you draw. Los Angeles and London. Okay, so each player will be given one of these, which is a reference card to the actions that you can take. And these can be things such as drive or ferry, so you'll move to a city that's connected by a white line, take a direct flight, charter flight or a shuttle flight, or you can build a research station, treat a disease, share knowledge, or discover a cure. I will put a picture of this, both sides of this card, so you can see how you do these, because each of these actions requires different elements to in order to complete the action. So each player's turn is split into 3 parts. The first part is to carry out 4 actions. So for example, you can move. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then you can remove the cubes in the city that you're in. That's 4 actions. Then you draw 2 cards from the player deck. If you draw an epidemic card, it tells you what to do on the card. So the first step is to increase the infection rate by moving the marker 1 space. You then draw the bottom card of the infection pile, and then place 3 cubes on the city you've drawn. So in this case, we're infecting Sydney. And then you intensify. So this means that you shuffle the discard pile of the infection deck and then place it back on top. And as it's still part of my turn, I will then draw a further 2 cards. Where's Santiago? As I've drawn Sydney again, this means that I will have to start an outbreak. So you don't place a 4th cube, you just infect cities that are connected via the white line. So that would go to Jakarta and also to Melina. And as there's like a white line that goes off the board that leads to Los Angeles, which is here, that would also get infected as well. If you start an outbreak and your connected city already has 3 cubes on it, you don't place a 4th cube, you start a chain reaction of outbreaks. However, you don't infect cities that have just had an outbreak, else this will just cause a continuous loop of outbreaks. And then you then move the outbreak marker, to 1 space per outbreak that has occurred. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did, and also to subscribe to my channel to see more content and also new content that will be coming up soon. I'll see you soon. Bye!